क्षमा, यह विश्वास जो मन ही खरो, यह विश्वास जो मन ही खरो, राधे किशोरी दया करो, श्यामा लाडली दया करो। विषम विषय विष ज्वाल माल में, विषम विषय विष ज्वाल माल में, विविधता तापनि झुझरो, विविधता तापनि झुझरो, राधे किशोरी दया करो, श्यामा लाडली दया करो। कब हो तो करुणा करोगे श्यामा, कब हो तो करुणा करोगे श्यामा, यही आस ते द्वार पर्यो, यही आस ते द्वार पर्यो, राधे किशोरी दया करो, श्यामा लाडली दया करो, दया करो राधे दया करो, दया करो राधे दया करो, राधे किशोरी दया करो, श्यामा लाडली दया करो। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
Hari Bol Mataji, very nice.
Thank you Prabhu, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very beautiful, Mataji. So
Hare
nice.
Krishna.
Okay, let's begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण everyone. Let's pay our obeisances to Sri Radha Govinda and Srila Prabhupada before we begin. So we have to start chapter 17, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the divisions of faith. We finished Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. Now it is Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. We see the summary. Yeah, this is what we did in chapter 16. First 6 verses, transcendental and demoniac qualities. Then 7 to 20, the demoniac nature. 21 to 24, the choice, escaping to the supreme destination. So godly men, who have, are called Devi Sampada, they are endowed with 26 divine qualities. Krishna spoke about that. And then Asura Sampada, demoniac people, they have degrading qualities, and their activities and thoughts and mentality, everything will take them to hell and to lower species of life. And then Krishna also said, following scriptures will cause elevation, and if we disregard scriptures, what's going to happen? That will cause degradation. So in this chapter, Arjuna has some questions related to this same topic. So he's going to ask. So this is what we learn in chapter 17. First 7 verses. One's modes determine one's activities, faith, and worship in the modes. We see so many types of people in the world. So what determines their faith and what kind of worship they do, everything. How does it, how can we, how are they different? It's all because of the modes. 8 to 10 foods in the modes, 11 to 13 sacrifices in the different modes, 14 to 19 austerity in the different modes, 20 to 22 we learn charity in the different modes, 23 to 28 the conclusion. Om Tat Sat. What does that mean? So Krishna said very nicely that those who disregard and behave whimsically, they will not attain happiness in this life or in the next. And now Krishna asks about unauthorized worship of those people. They have some faith, but it is not based on scriptures. They'll have some kind of faith. They have faith though, but it's not on scriptures. So what will happen to them? Will they attain knowledge? Will they attain success? Where do they go? So Krishna will answer those questions. Faith in demigods, Devata worship, that is in the mode of goodness. And some people worship human beings, that is mode of passion. And some people worship ghosts and hobgoblins and all these negative entities. That kind of worship is in the mode of ignorance. Krishna will explain everything so nicely now. Okay. Summary. Chapter 16 explains the divine qualities that elevate one on the tree and leads ultimately to liberation. Chapter 16 also explains the demoniac qualities and the mentality which drive one lower on the tree and ultimately to hell. In chapter 16, Krishna also established that faithful followers of Shastra are divine and that the faithless are demoniac. Being on this planet, actually, we are very lucky. And we are in the human body. So we have all the facilities to actually elevate ourselves. But into which category does a man fit? Who follows with faith something other than Shastra? Is he in goodness, passion, or ignorance? Where is he situated in the banyan tree? Wants to know where is he? Because we're talking about Shastra all this time. So where does this person belong here? Very valid question Arjuna asks. One's modes determines one's activities, faith, and worship in the modes. Section A. So, can someone please read this translation? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, yes. Thank you.
Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the situation of one who does not follow the principles of scriptures but worships according to his own imagination? Is he in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Right in 4th chapter, Krishna said, Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatparam samatendriya. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Shraddhavan, a faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who can control his senses is eligible to attain transcendental knowledge. That's what Krishna said. And after attaining transcendental knowledge, very quickly he'll become spiritually peaceful. He'll attain supreme spiritual peace. It is not like how we say, I need some peace of mind. That's not the kind of peace. He attains supreme spiritual peace. He's always in bliss. Nothing external, no external situation, however disturbing it is, can disturb him. So that's what Krishna said. Shraddhavan labate jnanam, tat param samatendriya, jnanam labdva param shantim, achirena, very fast, adi gacchati. So now he's also telling, and definitely one who follows the scriptural injunction is divine. He's a devata. He's a demigod. He can elevate himself very fast, but one does not. Is going to, go down to hell. So what about those people who create their own god? Some people, anybody says I am God and I have these powers, immediately they start worshipping them. And some people create their own god, like you see here, flying spaghetti monster, Scientology. We cannot say I will create my own religion. Tomorrow I'm creating a new religion. I'm going to name it something. Please, all of you come and join my religion. That's not how it works. Krishna says, no. This knowledge or this information is coming directly from scriptures, and these scriptures are directly coming from the Lord Himself. God is giving us these instructions, and we have to follow that. They are all authorized. These instructions are coming from it's passed on from one spiritual master to another in the paramparasa. So that's how it is. We cannot artificially create one religion, call it something, and then we cannot call one imaginary creature and say this I'll worship, this is God. This is not. This is all in ignorance. Okay, please recite this one. Hare Krishna. There is a shloka here. Who would like to recite this one?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Shri Bhagavan Trivida Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Sa Swabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheti Tam Shrunu. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Would you like to read the translation also, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds, in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now hear about this. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So some people, they know all the rules and regulations of scriptures, but they are lazy. They don't want to follow. So they give up all the rules and regulations. And then what happens? If that happens, if they're not following the rules and regulations just out of laziness or, they're not willing. So what will happen? They will be ruled by the modes of material nature. They'll be governed by the modes of material nature. So whichever mode they are in, their behavior, their activity, everything will be as per that. But it's very important to follow the scriptures, like how there's some examples are given. If we say a skeleton is something very dirty, right? It is after the body, starts decaying, then all that is left is a skeleton. We don't consider that something auspicious, but we use a conch shell for our worship. That is because the Vedas are saying so. We just follow that. Same way, the stool of an animal is dirty. If by chance some bird stool or something we touch something dirty, as per our shastras, we have to go take a bath. But cow dung is not. We don't consider that dirty. It is auspicious. So because this is also given in the Vedas, so we just follow. So that's how scriptures are. Whatever instructions they give, we have to follow. We are in the contact of the material nature, and because of that we acquire all kind of mentality, and our activities, association, everything is because of the material modes, either goodness, passion, or ignorance. Now a kami, what happens? Kami, what is his attitude? He wants to enjoy the material world. He'll perform karma kandic activities. Everything that he does, he wants something in return. So what will happen when we are working in that attitude? I'll do this because I want this. We discussed Hanuman also many times. Hanuman, when he jumped the ocean or he plucked the mountain to get the Sanjeevani booty and all for Lakshman, he was not thinking, what will I get out of this? Are they going to pay me for this? How many crores? He was not thinking at all. He just served the Lord. So that is a very high level of devotion. So Karmi is not like that. He's working. Everything he does with some calculation. So his goal is to enjoy some returns. If I don't get anything, I'm not doing this activity. That's how he is. And what he'll do is he'll end up in heavenly planets, because sometimes he performs all kind of activities through which he gains some punya. Through that, he'll go to heavenly planets. And we know what will happen to a person who does charity for only for punya's sake and all that. We know King Nriga, how he had to become a lizard. He was giving charity, nothing wrong with it, but that was karma kanda activity. There's always danger in when you're doing karma kanda activities. There is danger. We don't know. We may become an animal also. So that is not very intelligent. A gnani, what does gnani do? He'll inquire, am I born to work like this, like a donkey? Am I supposed to enjoy all my senses? And what is beyond all this? How do I acquire knowledge? Why am I here? What is this? So he starts questioning. When he starts gathering more and more knowledge, comes a time. Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. Then what happens after several births, millions of births, he'll understand Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Vasudev is everything. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So a person who finally understands that Vasudeva is everything, I have to surrender to him. My goal is Vasudeva only. My activities are meant for him, for his pleasure. A person who finally reaches that stage, such a person is very, very rare. But a Gnani also will reach that stage where he will become a Bhakta, devotee. So what does devotee do? He'll surrender to the Lord in full knowledge, complete knowledge. He knows his constitutional position. So it is like theory is one thing, realization is another thing. So application of knowledge, he'll live a life which will take him to his destination. So that is, he realizes Sat Chit potency, that he is situated in the mode of goodness. And from there, he advances and he'll reach a stage of Shuddha Sattva platform, beyond the three modes of material nature, and he'll become completely transcendental. So that is the goal. So see, it depends on different modes. Who is in passion, who is in ignorance, and a bhakta who is completely Krishna conscious, he is on a Shuddha Sattva platform. What does he do? He'll follow all the rules and regulations of the devotional service. His activities will be very different compared to a Karmi and Gnani. And he'll also follow those 9 steps of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, he'll be living a life according to those principles. So it depends on their mode. Who is going to read the translation? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. In the purport, Prabhupada explains so nicely. He says, the real principle of religious faith is situated only in the mode of pure goodness. Because only when we have faith in purified goodness, only then we can understand God. So we have to reach that stage. Only then we'll understand the real nature of the Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have to reach that stage. Everyone has some kind of faith. Some people worship demigods, some people some kind of mental concoction. You go and see in the society, they'll argue so much. So they will say, so they're almost to the point of atheism, like that they will argue. But actually we are all nirguna by nature. Nirguna means transcendental to all these 3 modes. That's how we are. 3 modes of material nature. We are transcendental. But we are in this material world. We have become contaminated now in this conditioned life. Because we are associating with all these different modes and everything, we have become so contaminated. And we have to be cleansed of all this material contamination, stay in the mode of goodness, then reach this mode of pure goodness. Then we'll really understand what is our goal, and we'll live like a devotee. So that is the goal. So what happens to our faith now? So it depends on the position of our heart, in which, if the heart is in the mode of goodness, the faith is also in the mode of goodness. If the heart is in the mode of passion, faith is also in passion. Heart is in the mode of darkness, illusion, then our faith is contaminated. That's why we see all kind of people who worship all kind of. Okay, there are so many different types of religion, but if there are authorized, if if it is in a parampara system and they have a scripture they are following, then it is authorized worship. Otherwise, they are not authorized. So only Krishna consciousness can elevate us actually, because the process itself is so purifying. We can actually elevate ourselves to Shuddha Sattva platform very easily. And instructions are given to us. We have to chant, we have to read, we have to hear, we have to perform activities, all that. Please recite this one, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
यजन्ते सात्विकादिवान् यक्षरक्षांसि राजसाः प्रेतानुभूतगणाश्चान्ये यजन्ते तामसा जनाः. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods, those in the mode of passion worship the demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So we can find out a person's faith just by what he does, by some parameters. See, as per our scriptures, only the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipable. It is only Narayana, Krishna, Rama, Lord Rama, Narasimhadev. These are Vishnu. They are the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. Prabhupada is very clearly saying, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead is none other than Krishna. So according to our scripture, only he is worshipable. But what is happening is, that's why Krishna is describing here. All kind of worshippers are there. Those who are in goodness, they worship the Devatas, Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Surya Dev. So they are all in the mode of goodness. And they worship for some purpose, they have something, some material desire. For that sake, they go and worship all the Devatas. And then there are people in mode of passion, like they worship humans or like demons. Because there was this example, there's this example of a person who was worshipping Hitler, it seems, during Second World War. Because this Hitler was rich and he has so much followers and all, he was started worshipping him. And then there are people who believe Brahma is impersonal form of, it's all in the form of passion. It's all because of passion, mode of passion and mode of ignorance. They start worshipping some powerful man. They'll take his printout and stick it up somewhere. They worship him, build a temple also for him. There are people who worship movie stars and whatnot. So that is not actually authorized worship. So a person who is in the mode of ignorance, he'll worship ghosts. So this is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. That means this kind of worship exists. There are entities who will actually accept some kind of sacrifice and give something in return to these people. So these people, they go, you will find them in some remote places, in villages and places like that. They go to some tree because they think there is a ghost living on the tree, and they offer sacrifices, all kind of sacrifices, and they want that ghost to do something for them. And that obviously it is that ghost is not in the proper mode. There's going to be a lot of problems. So this kind of things happen. They are all done in ignorance. So when a person is transcendentally situated, completely purified, in pure goodness, he will worship only Vasudeva. It's given in the purport. So that person is very intelligent. Please read this one, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride, egotism, lust, and attachment, who are impelled by passion and who torture their bodily organs as well as the supersoul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. We are not supposed to torture our body, you know, it is not at all acceptable. Krishna is only saying. Because this body is also a gift given to us. We have to maintain it so that it stays healthy and fit so that we can serve. You know, we have activities in devotional life. It is not like we'll just become useless, go sit in one corner, or I'll just go to the forest and sit there and just meditate. And that's not going to work. Because Prabhupada says a true person who is actually elevated in his spiritual path, he'll be very busy serving the Lord and he'll try to, you know, distribute Krishna Prema to others also. So that's how it is. And these are people who create their own austerity, their own penance, which is not mentioned in any scriptures. There's no scripture which is saying you put your head like this and stand like that. And, you know, God will be very happy. No, that's not true. So then we see Hiranyakashipu here. He did austerity because he wanted to be immortal. He did not want to die. He wanted power. Why did he want power? He was hurting others. He didn't do anything good with all that power and money that he attained. So the purpose is not noble. So if this is a austerity done, it's definitely not noble. And Ravana also, he had complete sense control. He was a gnani. He was, you know, he was a Shiva Bhakta and all that. But then it was done for sense gratification. You know, he was also into sense gratification. So all this is not authorized. And then Prabhupada also mentions we have to fast only according to what the rules are given in the scriptures only. Because some people fast for some ulterior purpose, for political reasons. You know, they'll starve themselves. They'll tell you satisfy my conditions, I will not eat for 21 days. I will not eat until I die. If you don't satisfy my condition, I'm just going to sit and fast. So that is not acceptable. We should not do anything like that. All this kind of fasting is done for pride, lust, and a lot of politicians do this. Satyagraha and all that. It's not authorized in us because we are just torturing our body, and we cannot do that because nothing belongs to us. The body is also not ours. We cannot do that. It's all done in false ego, false prestige, for some kind of material gain. And it's very disturbing for the soul also. So, not acceptable. So, this is just demoniac nature. That's what is given in the puppet. So, a person who is actually guided by spiritual master and who directs him into Vedic wisdom, you know, only such person can attain enlightenment. Everybody else will be misled like this. They'll do something. And if we want to achieve our ultimate goal, supreme goal, we have to be guided by the spiritual master who is actually, you know, who is representative of the Lord himself. That's the only way for us to be successful. So please recite this one, Hare Krishna. Aharasva api sarvasya. Who would like to
Hare
recite?
Hare
Hare
Krishna Mataji. Aharastvavakti sarvasya trivido bhavati priyaha yajnastapastastadanan tesham vedamimam shunu. Even the food each person prefers is of three kinds, according to the three modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifices, austerities, and charity. Now here the distinctions between them. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So even the food each person prefers. You know, people say, I like chatpata khana, I like this, I like meat, I like fruits, vegetables. So all this kind, you know, according to the three modes of material nature. So same thing, sacrifices in three modes,
Yes.
austerity in three modes, charity in three modes. So he's going to tell us the difference. So based on the modes of material nature, there are differences in the manner of eating, performing sacrifices and everything. And food in the three modes, you know, it's very, very important because food is what is actually giving us health and giving us energy and keeping our body going. So food in three modes, it's a very, very important topic. Ayu, Sattva, Bala and Arogya. So food is supposed to give us all this. Ayu Satya, Sattva means purification. Ayu Bala Arogya. We'll learn this now. And what are we eating? Identifying mode of faith. Eating, sacrifice, austerity, charity. By observing the activities of these. If you watch a person, what he eats, what kind of austerity he does, what type of charity he does, what is the sacrifice, all this, then you will understand what mode he's situated in. Wise. Those who know and discriminate based on these activities are wise. Foolish people, those who consider all kinds of food, sacrifice, etc., to be the same, and they do not discriminate. They're like, nothing wrong, I'm born in this family and I'm going to eat like this only. There's nothing wrong. I still go to temple, I still do all the worship, but there is no internal cleanliness happening, external cleanliness happening. So, it is like many people go to the temple and they think, oh, they are all great devotees. But actually, when we read Prabhupada's books, we'll understand we have a long, long way to go. So, foods in the 3 modes, section B. Can you please read this, Mataji? Can anyone read? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Foods in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such nourishing foods are sweet, juicy, fattening, and palatable. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, pungent, dry, and hot are liked by people in the modes of passion. Such foods cause pain, distress, and disease. Food cooked more than 3 hours before being eaten, which is tasteless, stale, putrid, decomposed, and unclean, is food liked by people in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So the purpose of food that we eat is to increase the duration of our life, to purify our mind, and to give, bodily strength, to aid bodily strength. And all the great authorities, all the great saintly people, they select food in the mode of goodness. Like they choose milk products, rice, wheat, grains, fruits, vegetables. This is what they eat. And they considered meat and liquor and all as untouchable things. They don't eat all that. And when we talk about fatty food, in the 8th verse it is mentioned, that is, it has no connection with animal at all. It is not talking about animal slaughter. So milk, butter, cheese, and there are so many different things, plant-based foods, which also give us the fat and protein that we require. See, protein we get from split peas, dal, whole wheat, etc. So Prabhupada says, so what happens is, he says, there's actually no need to, slaughter animals at all. There is enough protein, enough fat, enough all minerals, whatever we need for the body. All the nutrients are easily available in the plant-based food. There's no need to do all that. And food in the mode of passion. It is bitter, too salty, too hot. Some people eat chaats and all. They make it so spicy, really burning their mouth, but they enjoy that. So it will be mixed with red pepper, and this will just cause misery in the sense the mucus lining in the stomach, that will be destroyed, and that will lead to a lot of disease. It is supposed to be there, the mucus lining in the stomach. Everything is designed for a certain reason. But if we eat the wrong food, it's going to harm the body. So then that will lead to disease. It may not happen overnight. If you go and tell them, they'll say nothing happened. See, yesterday I ate, I'm fine today. It's not going to happen that fast. Slowly it will start showing on them. Foods in the mode of ignorance. Actually, they say when the baby, the fetus in the tummy, that time what mother, the foods that she consumes, that also can have a long-term effect on the baby. So we cannot say, oh, the baby ate, she ate when the baby was in the tummy. When the baby is 10 years old, it will not have any effect. You cannot say, slowly. So over a period of time, it will definitely have some effect. So food in the mode of ignorance, darkness, these food, they are not fresh. So any food that is cooked if it is kept for more than 3 hours and 6 hours, we cannot eat such food because some people still eat it, nothing's going to happen, but that is considered food in the mode of ignorance. So what will happen if you're in the mode of ignorance? We know we'll be lethargic. You see, for children, if they have exam, if you give them fresh food and try to give them light food and all all sattvic food, their absorption capacity and what they read, what they learn, they retain. But if they're eating food in ignorance, that will not help them at all. They will not remember much. So it is going to affect them. So same way, every activity that we will do will be affected by the kind of food we eat. And it also, Prabhupada also says, when we offer food to the Lord, that food, even if it is 10 hours old, it is still sattvic. It is uh, fit for consumption. Prasad is different. Once we offer it to the Lord, it is transcendental. So that we can eat. We offer nuts and that and this to the Lord, and that we can consume. So prasad is prasad only. So the best thing to do is to offer food to the Lord or saintly people and then take the prasad. You know what happened to Narad Muni? He ate remnants of food offered to the saintly people, and he became transcendental. So, like that, prasad is very, very, it is going to have a great effect on us. So that's why once I was attending some lecture, and Mataji had invited a special guest lecturer, a special teacher, who that person has been in Krishna consciousness for like very long time, very elderly. And somebody was saying, they're talking about their children and problems in the family and all. She was saying very simple solution she was giving, but it felt like, does this really work? But she was saying, just give them prasad. You don't have to make a show. Like, you don't say, I'm feeding you prasad. You don't have to do that. Just offer the food to the Lord and offer the same uh, prasad to these people, mix it in their food, and it is slowly there. You will see changes because what we offer to the Lord only says, "I take patram, pushpam, palam, toyam." Nothing out of this, anything other than this, you are not going to offer. So the food is already sattvic, and then once it is offered, it becomes transcendental. So starts showing in the nature of the person, their behavior, their outlook. It's going to happen slowly. They'll also be pulled towards Krishna. So saying just start with that because that is something that is very easy to do. And prasad also should be cooked in a certain way. Then again, examples, how they look. Food in the mode of goodness, food in the mode of passion, in the mode of ignorance. See this cheese, it has live worms also. And people consume this stale cheese. Let's go to the next slide. Please read this translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. 17.11 Of sacrifices, that sacrifice performed according to duty and to scriptural rules and with no expectation of reward is of the nature of goodness. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So he's talking about sacrifices. Sacrifices performed according to duty. I'm doing this because this is my duty. And according to scriptural rules, it should match with what the scripture is saying. And with no expectation of any reward. That is in the mode of nature of goodness. Generally, people have this tendency, right? Everyone, they offer sacrifice. They'll have some purpose in mind. But that is not, they'll have some desire. With no activities without any desire, in this Kali Yuga, it is like that. So we should perform sacrifice as a matter of duty. If you perform with some material benefit in our mind, then that's not going to help us. And it's not in the mode of goodness. And then one more thing it's given is, Prabhupada writes in the purport, he says, we should go to the, according to scriptures, there is certain way we have to live and all that we have to do, like go to the temple as a matter of duty, Obey the scriptures as a matter of duty. Offer respects to the Lord and all his elevated souls. Offer flowers and eatables to the Lord. Do as a matter of duty, not because we want something in return. So the best sacrifice in Kali Yuga is japa. We have to chant, and Sankirtana Yagna is what is recommended for the all this devotional service, means it includes everything. So best sacrifice is japa only. And Prabhupada says only through devotional service with firm faith in Krishna and by chanting our hearts get cleansed. And when the heart is clean, our senses can get controlled. We can control our senses. And one who acts in Krishna consciousness, he will definitely attain the highest perfection. So if we are actually following all the rules given to us in Krishna consciousness, we will definitely attain perfection, and our activities will naturally be in the mode of goodness. But our goal is to become transcend the modes also. Shuddha Sattva platform. So again, japa is given here. Sacrifice, this is the sacrifice mentioned. Okay. Sacrifice in the mode of goodness. According to direction of the scriptures. No mental speculation. Performed only as a matter of duty. Example, to go to temple, church as a duty, not for economic benefit. Duty of every civilized man is to obey scriptural injunctions, to offer respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's our duty actually. We are supposed to offer obeisances to the Lord. We should not be desiring any reward. All this is in the mode of goodness. General tendency is to offer with a purpose in mind. Okay, please read this translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. But the sacrifice performed for some material benefit or for the sake of pride, O chief of the Bharatas, you should know to be in the mode of passion.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
So people perform rituals to go to heavenly kingdom. I want to go to heaven. That's their mentality. So that is all karma kanda. This is all in the mode of passion. So faith in the mode of darkness is faithlessness. So people worship demigods for money. I'll just note. People worship for sake of money, for sense gratification. And what do? They'll pray to the Lord, give me this much wealth, give me this much wealth. And when they gain the wealth, what do? They spend it all for sense gratification, for recreation. Go to some nice party place, go to some vacation, spend it all on food and drinks and everything. So this is not mentioned in the scriptures. This kind of instruction is not given. You earn money so that just spend it all on all kind of nonsense. Because as grihasthas, we are allowed certain amount of enjoyment. Like we are allowed to wear colorful clothes, because grihastha life is like that. We are allowed some little bit enjoyment, and grihasthas earn money. They do have money. So, but it is not for unlimited sense gratification. That is not mentioned in the scriptures. So that is mode of passion and mode of ignorance only. So this is ignorance now. Please read this one, 17.13.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, the last shloka I have read it from the book, Mataji. No issues, no Mataji.
Yeah, if it is Bhagavad Gita, it is no problem, Mataji.
Yeah, Bhagavad Gita only. So after that, I read it from here. So it was little bit different. Only the words were jumbled. Like.
Okay.
17.13, no Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, 17.13 we have to read. You have Bhagavad Gita as it is, right? This is the one.
Yes, as it is.
Then, yes, Mataji, then no problem.
Yeah, that only Bhagavad Gita, as it is.
Okay.
Any sacrifice, and that sacrifice performed in defiance of scriptural injunctions, in which no spiritual food is distributed, no hymns are chanted, and no remunerations are made to the priest, and which is faithless, that sacrifice is of the nature of ignorance. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So we see one Asura, Bhasmasura, this is. So this sacrifice, he's also performing some sacrifice, but here we don't see any priest. There is no prasad, no Vedic hymns, nothing. He's doing it for his own sense gratification. What he does is he cuts his own body parts and throws into the fire. He wants Shiva to appear, and Shiva, out of out of compassion, he appears and he'll say, "Oh, what are you doing? Don't." He's ready to cut off his head because he wants, give me this, otherwise I'm going to roll on the floor. Some children are like that, they throw all kind of tantrums. So this is like that. So he wants Shiva to appear and give him whatever he wants. So when this is all in ignorance. This is Krishna is so beautifully explaining here. And some people offer animals as sacrifice because animals were sacrificed in Treta Yuga. Some pages in the Vedas, there are parts of Vedas talking about animal sacrifice. See, in Treta Yuga and Satya Yuga, when animals were sacrificed, Vedic hymns were chanted, and the animal would get a human body in the next birth. Sometimes animal gets liberation, sometimes it gets a human body. So it depends, because they were all qualified Brahmanas who were conducting such kind of a sacrifice. There was a reason behind all that. But in Kali Yuga, there are no qualified Brahmanas. Because these Brahmanas, they didn't need a matchbox to light the fire. They would just say some mantra and the fire would be lit. So they were so highly qualified. So animal sacrifice in Kali Yuga, it is all done for taste. They want to enjoy, it tastes so good, so I'll eat this animal. That's how it is. It's all selfish motive. There is no need to kill any animal. Austerity in the modes. Austerity of body, speech, and mind. Austerity of body, speech, and mind. After this, we can stop because half the chapter is done. Next one we'll do in the next session. Because if you read these purports and come back, chapter is pretty simple. If you notice, it is just talking about the modes of material nature and what kind of worship a person does and all that. So it's easy to read, it is easy to understand also. So austerity of the body, speech, and mind. So let's understand this. Worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and the superiors like father and mother. That is all austerity of the body. Cleanliness, keeping the body clean. Simplicity, we have to be modest, be as simple as possible. The speech should be simple, everything should be simple. Celibacy. Celibacy here means a grihastha is allowed, because he has a spouse and he has a family. So there is some amount of anything, illicit relationship is not allowed. So that's what it is. So brahmacharis are celibates. Even in the mind, they are not thinking about anything like dating a girl and all that is not allowed. But for a grihastha, he has to be faithful to his family, his wife. So, and the wife has to be chaste. Non-violence. So these are the austerity of the body. We'll discuss this in the next few slides. Austerity of speech, speaking truthful words, very pleasing. The truth has to be spoken in a very palatable way, and it has to be beneficial for others, not agitating to others. They say before speaking, we should check, is it truthful? Is it going to benefit the other person? Is it going to agitate the other person? Is it necessary to speak like this? We have to think and then speak, it seems. It's given. So regularly reciting Vedic literature or speech should be used for that. We all can speak. Ani may not talk, but the Lord has given us this capacity. So we have to recite the Vedic literature. We have to speak like this. Mind, austerity of mind, gravity in thought, satisfaction means not being addicted to sense enjoyment, and then trying to detach ourselves from all this unnecessary sense gratification, and simplicity, self-control, purification of one's existence. Okay, let's go and understand this one by one. Please recite this one, Hare Krishna. Anjali Mataji, is your internet okay now, Mataji? Manuja Mataji is also reciting, and anybody else also can try. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Mataji.
Okay, 2 people are saying Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
Manuja Mataji, you can.
Okay.
Continue. I will do next time.
Mataji, you may recite, Mataji.
Please do it.
Okay. 17.14. Deva Dvija Guru Prajnam Pujanam Saucham Arjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. Translation. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So now we have to offer respect to, like you see this child, how nicely is putting this garland on Prabhupada. That is, we have to offer respect to the Devatas, all the demigods. And we call them demigods, and we say, like how Krishna was telling his father, no need to do this sacrifice for Indra, right? We think, oh, Devatas are not important. That's not how it is. We still have to respect them because they are working for us. The water, the sunlight, everything that we have is because of the Devatas. We have to offer respects to them. But we should know that the Supreme is the Lord only. That we should know. Difference we should know. And then we have to offer respects to the Brahmanas, qualified Brahmanas, and spiritual masters, all the acharyas, and father, mother, elderly, all this. And any person who knows the Vedas, who is very, very Dani, like who knows the saransh of the Vedas, what the ultimate goal of the Vedas, we have to respect such people. And in the purport, it's also given. Prabhupada also says there are 7 mothers that we have. Have you all heard about it? 7 mothers. We have to respect them. One is our real mother who gave birth to us. And there is the wife of the spiritual master, wife of the king, wife of the Brahmana. They are also mothers. And then we have the cow. And then we have the nurse and Mother Earth. So we have 7 mothers and we have to offer respects to all these 7 mothers. And then austerity of the body. And then we also see Dandavat Pranam. We see this person who is fallen down like a stick. So men usually offer respect like that, and women, they offer respect in a different way. They offer obeisances in a different way. They don't offer like men, because our chest and all should not touch the ground. So it's a different way. And then no illicit relationship. We have to cultivate spiritual knowledge. We have to be clean, take bath early in the morning. And then what do we do for internal cleanliness? We have to chant. And then practicing non-violence means, like we know we should not hurt anyone, killing others and animals, that is all not allowed. At the same time, we should not put anyone in a miserable condition. Mentally also, we should avoid all that. That is also not acceptable. And one more thing is the definition of non-violence. Some problem with the electricity here. It will come back. See, definition of non-violence. We should elevate ourselves also. We should make sure we are also progressing in our Krishna consciousness. At the same time, we have to help others also get closer to Krishna, try to elevate their consciousness. That is true non-violence. So we have to follow all this. Let's go ahead and learn austerity of speech. Please recite this one, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priya hitain chayat swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva vangmayan tapa uchyate. Austerity of speech in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So we should not speak in such a way that the other person's mind gets agitated. And when to speak, how much to speak. The Vaishnava knows very well. Like if you see Bhagavatam also, Vaishnava, how Vasudev is Krishna, Vasudev is his father. When Devaki was being, punished, like, not punished exactly, when Kamsa was trying to kill her, I'll just mute. When Kamsa was trying to, kill Devaki, we see how Vasudeva was talking to Kamsa. His speech was so beautiful because the person in front of him was a demon, Asura. So how do we actually communicate with such a person? Very beautifully he spoke and he actually saved his wife's life. So it's like that, a person should know according to time, space, circumstances. We have to speak very nicely. And then we have to study Vedic literature, that is austerity of speech, then chant. And then one more thing is, a teacher sometimes is very firm with the student. Prabhupada also, he used to correct his disciples. He used to tell them, one second. He used to tell them what is the right thing, what is not acceptable. He was very firm in his speech sometimes. That is how a teacher is supposed to talk, because he's supposed to correct his students. So we also have gone through several, and we have gone to so many classes, and we know how teachers correct us. But the same teacher will not go outside the class or to someone and start correcting that person. He will not do that, right? They talk firmly to their students, but with others, there's a different way of speaking. So all this is, a Vaishnava knows how to speak, and he will not talk nonsense. Nonsense means anything that is not related to spiritual matters, anything that is not related to Krishna, they will not talk. And when they are speaking in society in general, they know how much to reveal, how much to protect. They protect their energies very nicely. And when they are, like for instance, they want to say something, they will back it up with scriptural authority. They always give references. This is given in such and such Purana. This is given here. Bhagavad Gita says this. Bhagavatam such and such verse says this. So they will quote. They will not talk from their own mind. The thing is, always they uphold the scriptures and they say, this is all according to scriptures I'm telling you. This is not coming from my own mind. So they know how to speak. And there's this very silly example of two brothers. This is a very silly, just to say roughly, how foolish people can behave sometimes. These two brothers have lot of, they have some skills. They can actually tell a person's future, tell a person's past and all that. They go to the king and say, give us some job. They tell the king, give me some job. So the king will say, okay, very nice, but what can you do? He'll say, we have these other skills we have, and we can tell the past of a person, about his ancestors and so many things we can tell. So the king actually is a good king. He takes care of his subjects very nicely, and he's very curious. He says, say something about my ancestor, great-grandfather. Why don't you say something? And these people, they say your great-grandfather was a robber or something bad, they say. And the king will be very agitated by that. He'll behead them. He'll get them punished, So that, they had come there for something and something else happens, and they were just being foolish there. So we should know whom to say what, how to speak, when, and based on times, circumstances, the person should know how to use his words, and very intelligent people know how to manage themselves. The Bhagavatam is full of that. The dialogues, even here, Arjuna, the way he's speaking, we can make out how beautifully he puts across all his questions, and Krishna also, the way he answers his questions. The communication is so beautiful. All the great devotees in Bhagavatam also, they speak very nicely. Prahlad Maharaj, for that instance, so many are there. Please read the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
17.16. And serenity, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purity of thought are the austerities of the mind. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Austerity of mind. So controlling our mind means detaching from sense gratification. So we are always thinking of what should I eat, what should I wear. If we see something good, we say, oh, let me purchase that also, this also. See, Grihastha life means it allows us to actually, like you see on festivals, we are dressed in a certain way. If there is a marriage ceremony, we are dressed in a certain way. We cannot go inappropriately. We cannot dress very simply and go and say, oh, I'm being very modest. So we have some liberty there. So accordingly, we have to live, but it should not become too much, out of control, uncontrollable. Some people, they just want to, like Mataji keeps saying, they already have enough saris, enough everything, but they cannot stop themselves from buying more things. So that's a kind of disease. It's just like I want to eat this also, that also, I want to do this also, I want to purchase this for no reason. So, it is like uncontrollable. So what austerity of mind means, having sense control and also always thinking of doing good to others, thinking about the welfare of everyone, not just ourselves. There's no selfishness in the mind. So that is very important. The mind is also quite satisfied because the mind is engaged in the Lord's service. What happens? The mind is quite satisfied. Because a person who is constantly thinking of sense enjoyment, he will be dissatisfied. Prahlad says, the moment you start thinking, I will enjoy my life like this, I want this is my all material goals, sense gratification, immediately the misery starts. There will be stress, there will be anxiety, there will be everything. So, how do we purify ourselves? The means is Krishna consciousness. That will definitely divert our mind to the Lord's service. And brahmacharis and all, they used to divert their mind to Vedic literature, and they take advantage of all the knowledge taught to them, and they keep themselves very pure. There is one example here. We see Shukamuni. When he didn't want to be born only, he was in his mother's womb for a very long time. Krishna had to personally come and say, Maya will not touch you, please come out. And then he started running. First of all, he thought this world is not for him. He just wanted to run. He kept running. Then Vyasamuni, his father, was running behind him. He said, please come back. My dear son, please come back. And then when he was running, this instance happens. These ladies here are taking bath. And when they saw Shukamuni, he was not wearing any clothes. When he was running there, they did not cover themselves. They continued taking bath. But when Vyasamuni came, they immediately covered themselves with clothes and all. So Vyasdev was curious. He asked them why, and they say because this boy Shukamuni, he was a teen, big boy, but still he was very innocent. There was the innocence of a child in him. When he was looking at them, he looked at them as souls, nothing more. This is not a female body, male body, no. These are all souls. He was looking at everyone as souls. So that's how it was. But Dasamon is different. He is a Grahastha, so they had to cover. So when they saw him, he saw that they could realize that this is a realized soul. This boy is not ordinary. They could make out. So his mind was very pure. That's what this shows. And our Puranas are full of satisfying stories, about Krishna and all this, everything, even Ramayana for that matter, Bhagavatam, everything. So we have to constantly hear all those pastimes. Then our mind will become naturally pure. So that's very important. And Prabhupada says we have to practice silence. What does silence mean? Silence doesn't mean we have to just not talk. That's not what it means. We should not talk nonsense. That's what it means. A self-realized person will speak only sense. He will not speak nonsense. He will speak about spiritual matters. He will speak very wisely. So that is silence. Practice silence. And then I think we can do one thing. We have finished half the chapter. We'll do this from this verse we can do in the next session. You all get a chance to read the purports also.